So how many of you are waiting till you have at least 10,000 followers on a social platform before you actually reach out and pitch brands? Our clients have too, but guess what? That is one of the biggest pain points that influencers have that we have worked with. And what I want to show you in this video is actually exclusive insight into the F.L.O.U.R.I.S.H method, which is an acronym to explain how you can land higher paid long-term brand deals and actually pitch to brands more authentically, more genuinely, and more efficiently as an influencer. So if that sounds like something you have a need for, stay tuned for more, chica. Hola chica, welcome back to this channel. So as you saw in the intro, we are going to dive into the F.L.O.U.R.I.S.H method. Now this method is something you can use starting today to actually land these longer term, genuine, authentic partnerships with brands. We all know it's intimidating sometimes reaching out to brands, especially when it's new and if we are still trying to grow with our influence. So without further ado, we're gonna dive right into the method. So starting with F, the F in the F.L.O.U.R.I.S.H method is to find the appropriate brands that you can work with long term. So there's 3 different ways that you can go about this, and the first is to actually research the brand. So go into their main website, making sure they even have a website, go into their social platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, maybe even Clubhouse now, YouTube, figure out what platforms they are present on to learn more about the brand. So as you are researching more about the brand, you can begin to figure out if their value system and their mission actually aligns with yours. So a really key way you can figure this out that so many influencers overlook is actually pinpointing different influencers they have worked with either currently or in the past. So a really easy pro tip to figure this out is to go to their Instagram, for example, if they have one, and figure out different influencers who have been tagged in their content that they are sharing. So when you find maybe 3 to 5, maybe even 10 different influencers that you can reach out to, this is a really, really easy way to gain more understanding of the brand, to figure out whether they actually are a good fit for you, and really to get some just genuine case studies of what experiences are with other influencers who have worked with this brand you might want to work with. The absolute biggest key point to working with any brand is to make sure it is a good fit for not only the brand, but for your audience. That is crucial because if your audience is not going to care about what you're sharing in regards to the brand, it's not really a good deal for the brand to invest in you to advertise, if you will, for their product or service. So the second L in F.L.O.U.R.I.S.H method is to win the brand's love. So there's nothing worse than even being an influencer and getting messages from brands who do not follow you, who have never interacted with you, and then you get this message about them just shedding so much love for your content and appreciation for what you share. If you as the influencer or even the brand pitching to an influencer has never even interacted with you or followed you or showed you any support, it's really difficult to kind of see the value in that and really feel like you are being seen and appreciated. Second thing, after the F.L.O.U.R.I.S.H, F and F.L.O.U.R.I.S.H method, after you found the brand, is to then lend them love. Like, comment, interact, share their posts. I do not just mean comment, so cute, love your product, or keep doing you, or keep shining your light. Not that those are bad comments, but it's really important to be intentional with the types of comments that you share. Place yourself in the story and understand that it's really important to be intentional, not only with what you comment, but how that can then go back to reflect what a partnership would look like with you. So if you are sharing a post that they've created on Instagram that you really resonate with, share that in your stories and really make sure you pinpoint why you are sharing it and why it's going to make sense for your audience. Because at the end of the day, that's the entire point. When you are developing these partnerships with brands, it's actually going to enhance your own content that you work very hard to create. And the more that you get paid to create this content, the more that you can put into creating the content and the better your content will become. So it's a huge pain point that I hear a lot of influencers not wanting to do paid content or promotional content because they feel like it's not authentic. Well, I completely disagree. And when you follow this F.L.O.U.R.I.S.H method that we utilize, you are able to then give more to your audience and actually grow a more authentic, flourishing audience, no pun intended, as a result. Now the O and flourish method is kind of when you start to get into the emails after you have figured out the appropriate brands, after you have lent them some love. And by the way, there's no perfect timeline for this. When you are approaching different brands and you kind of have a timeline set out, maybe you are thinking, okay, 2 to 5 brands this month will be really sustainable. If you can figure out 2 to 5 brands that you want to work with the next maybe 6 months and continue that on in a long-term relationship, you're able to pinpoint what income you are able to bring in from that, and then figure out after the 6 months is up or whatever the contract looks like for you and that brand, then you can find additional brands to work with, or maybe even the exact same brands want to extend contracts with you. That's something that's personally happened with us. Here's a little screenshot of an example of when a brand actually said, we would love to continue this partnership with you longer than just the initial 3 months. You could literally work with 10 brands for 2 years and kind of interchange the content that you create, different campaigns and whatnot. And that could literally be your sustainable income from brand partnerships. And that's really helpful because you're actually building a relationship, not just quick one-off posts that are not as intentional. And I know it's really, I guess the word would be tempting to work with any and every brand that comes your way, or for you to pitch any and every brand you find that could be a good fit, but it's important to be very, very picky with that, even starting out, even with less than 10K, because I'm telling you, here's a screenshot of examples of income that we have brought in with this business, that even having less than 10K on a single platform like Instagram, it is still possible with the engagement and the community you create. I cannot stress to you enough how important it is to talk more about your audience and what they will gain from the brand in a partnership, way more than you talk about yourself. The worst thing you can do, and I know it's also very tempting, especially when you are new to the space, is to send a long novel to a brand talking about your rates, your engagement rates, your successes, your wins, your articles that you've been featured in, all these things basically as like a resume in an email. That is not what a brand wants to see initially. They want to figure out, why is this influencer reaching out to me? What can they uniquely give me that I'm not already receiving? It's kind of like going to a cocktail party. That is not the approach you're going to have with somebody when you meet them in a cocktail party for the first time. If you're pitching a brand an opportunity for you guys to partner, or if you're going to a cocktail party and trying to develop relationships with new people, you're going to want to learn more about them and make it a very mutual conversation. You are being intentional with why you are approaching them. You are communicating your interest, your appreciation, your gratitude for that person and or brand. And it's really important to remember that these are people you are talking to. Brand reps are actual people, and as people, we crave relationships. We crave to be seen and understood. So remember that as you're pitching brands. Remember that it's not a computer, if you will, that you are talking to. You are talking to a human being. So now that we've gone through the F, L, and O, we are now into the U of Flourish method. Now the U stands for understanding the brand's needs. It's important to give them examples of ideas you have created in your mind that you think will be a good fit for a campaign or for the brand period. Having a few prepped examples of content you can create is really going to set you up for success, to show the brand that you are intentional and that you are serious about working together. To tag along with this, it's also important to, while you are giving examples of ideas you have, make sure that you state in that email that you are open to hearing from them and getting their perspective, because the entire point is to work together. That's what a partnership collaboration is. It's not just about you, and it's not just about the brand. It's bringing your influence together, and you as the influencer talking about something, a product or service that you love of the brands. That is the whole entire point to developing this content, to make it more of a mutually beneficial offer. You should want to give the most genuine, authentic content to your style and messaging. If a brand is not willing to let you do that, in our opinion, it probably isn't a good partnership, because at the end of the day, your audience connects with you and your message style for a reason. And if you create a piece of content that kind of is really different and obscure and kind of random, it's kind of going to alienate you and your audience, especially over time. So make sure that If that's something that's important to you, being genuine and authentic and really on brand with your content, even with brands, if that's important, make sure that you clarify that and make sure when you're doing it respectfully. And if that's something that's not important to you, totally hear you, but that is 100% something that's been important to us in our community, and that's just what we wanted to share because it's genuinely, authentically how we roll and what's been possible with these amazing brand partnerships long term. Now, the R in Flourish method is to, after you have expressed different ideas you have for the brand to partner together, different content creating ideas, you want to figure out what skill sets you have that you can kind of tack on to that are unique to you. So this could even be a specific demographic that you have in your audience. Maybe you are really in tune with the Latin Spanish community, and that's something that the brand really resonates with, and that maybe is a demographic they are trying to reach as well. That is a skill set you have unique to your audience and your influence. Another skill could be video creating or graphic design or memes, for example. Figure out different ways that the brand can share their message more fully and more vibrantly, and put that into your email as you are pitching this brand as to why you can uniquely help them. A great way is to show the brand some ideas of the type of content you create. And chances are, if you start off these pitches and you pitch them really genuinely starting off, in other words, making it about them, they're going to then research you a little bit more and want to learn more about who is this influencer reaching out to me if they do not know who you are already. So it's also important to link in those emails links to your social channels or your website as well. So making it easy for the brand to get in touch with you and learn more about you is really key. Now, if you were a little bit like, okay, this is overwhelming, I don't even know how to begin pitching brands, I do offer some pitch to brand email templates, and you can access these by going to this link right here and joining this free webinar that basically walks you through how to attract higher paid brand deals on Instagram. So definitely check that out if it's something you have interest in, or if you want just a little bit more insight aside from this video. Now, the I in the Flourish method is to implement what you have learned. So after you have pitched the brand, you've researched them, you've opened it up for discussion, you've recognized needs that you can meet, you want to implement what you have learned in an actual partnership within a contract and, of course, the content you then move forward to create. So implementing what you learned is really important because you're going to then mold the content that you have agreed to create for the brand into messages and ideas that you already want to share with your audience. So for example, maybe it's springtime coming and you want to share a simple wellness lifestyle hack for influencers specifically. And maybe the brand that you partner with is in the wellness space. So it's really mutual beneficial connection to work with them, and then tack that onto the content you want to give your audience. And then not only do you give them the tips and the wisdom, but you are also giving them an actual tool and product to use to implement those tips and wisdom. So that's what is really, really cool about partnerships with brands, and why it's so frustrating to hear when influencers overlook the opportunity to do sponsored paid content, because it is going to enhance your content when you do it the right way and go through methods like this Flourish method. And it's going to make you able to do this more full time, because the only way you can do that is to make money from it. This is a business. No matter what you hear, it is a business, and I promise you that if this is something that lights you up, if creating content for brands and having an influence online is something that makes you happy, go for it, because you literally get this one life to do so, and it would be unfortunate for you to overlook that and to miss that opportunity. Now, the S in the Flourish method is to state what you've learned. So this is kind of back-end organization for you as a business owner. Something that's really crucial is to keep track of brands you've worked with, what they've said. Maybe you pitched your brand, but it didn't work out. Keep a running track of what that looked like within a organized template. If you want to use a simple Word document and write the name of the brand, who you talked to, maybe it was a brand rep's name, how it went, whether it was a yes to a partnership, maybe it was a no for now, maybe it was a yes for 3 months, or maybe it was a yes for 6 months. Make sure you have details lined out to keep track of who you've worked with, where you can state to yourself what you've learned and kind of keep that documentation. Because as you grow and do more brand partnerships, and as you maybe teach other people to do the same, it's really crucial for you to keep track of your journey, to then look back on that and remember not only how far you've come, but what you've learned along the way and how you can use that to impact other people as well. Now, the H in the final letter of this Flourish method is to hope for the best. So it's easy for us to think as business owners, as influencers, that our mindset should be in check, that we should be positive thinking, that we should kind of have it together and really work on our balance and our lifestyle, wellness, but it's a lot easier said than done. So it's very crucial for you to approach every partnership as an opportunity and as a gift, even if it does not work out at the time or maybe the first time. It's really important to show yourself that being able to make an impact online and all is a blessing, and to be able to connect with people so seamlessly online and to help other small business owners and other business owners, period, to grow their impact is such an amazing opportunity. And even if you only work with 10 different influencers forever and you keep kind of rotating and recycling that partnership into new different campaigns, that is a huge win, and it's a huge chance for you to not only make an impact for your audience, but really get to know another human being who has similar like-minded passions as you. They're business owners just like you as the influencer, and it's really important to treat them that way and to just show love and appreciation and want it to be a relationship, not only a business transaction, because it is a business, but also that relationship, because the best and most powerful businesses are built on strong, genuine, and trustworthy relationships. So use this Flourish method. I know this was a lot of content. Be sure to save this video, reshare it if you would love to with somebody that can also find value from it. And keep the notes you've written today. Pause this video, rewind, whatever you have to do. And most importantly, subscribe and give this video a big thumbs up. It helps more content be able to be put out for you to give you the value that you seek by coming on this platform to get basically solutions to your problems or questions. So thank you so much for stopping by. As always, it's such a blessing to see you and give you the value that you seek. So I will see you in the next video. Besos.